Well, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has announced a House committee hearing on Afghanistan as soon as possible. No date has been released just yet. To respond, let's bring in Pennsylvania Congressman Dan Meuser, who is on the House Foreign Affairs Committee, and Alabama Congressman Jerry Carl. And we have NEWSMAX contributor Kelly Sadler is also here. She'll be providing analysis and questions throughout the night. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
Good to be here. Thank you.
All right, Congressman Carl, I'm going to start with you. It is becoming increasingly concerning that the Biden administration has no real evacuation plan for Americans on the ground in Afghanistan. Even as we heard earlier in the press conference from the Pentagon, they said that we don't have the capability, the capacity to get these people out, and the airport in Kabul is blocked. At this point, what can be done?
Well, at this point, we have to do what we've got to do to get our people out. We managed to get one out that we kind of coached through. He went through 3 checkpoints. He is from Afghanistan. He is a U.S. citizen. He managed to get himself to the airport and got himself out. But we're dealing with a president that's just moved from one crisis to the next. And he's constantly trying to distract us from the last crisis. And I hope America's not foolish enough to take their eyes off of what's really going on at our southern borders. That's what they want to distract us from. I mean, our own borders. Now, in Afghanistan, it's bad. It's some of the worst leadership I've ever seen, but we've got to give our military a chance to get in there and do their job.
Absolutely. Congressman Meuser, we have an August 31st deadline to be out of Afghanistan. Are you confident that we're going to be able to get these Americans out? They said 2,000 were today, but there were 5,000 to 10,000 still there.
Yeah, Lindsay, I got to tell you that maintaining that August 31st date is equivalent to the Titanic trying to keep its arrival date after it hit the iceberg. I mean, it's just another ridiculous goal and statement made by this administration. I mean, from day one, they chose September 11th, 20-year anniversary for a withdrawal. And then instead of moving it back, they moved it up. And we had the Taliban and the Al Qaeda come together, go on the attack, take city after city. I mean, just a few days ago, the Biden administration said it would be 90 days until they took Kabul. We know that didn't happen. Not only was there no evacuation plan, they took the military out before the American civilians, and we also left 158, I understand, Black Hawk helicopters behind that could have either been flown out or destroyed. That's about $1 billion worth of Black Hawk helicopters left behind. Boy, I mean, this thing just is started bad, got worse. There continues to be no policy whatsoever. And Biden just blaming. I mean, come on, the president of the United States, he blamed everybody but the Taliban. We saw him blame the previous administration, the Trump administration, which is complete nonsense. They didn't follow the Trump administration on border security. They didn't follow the Trump administration on the Iran agreement. But this one they needed to follow, according to the baloney coming from the Biden White House.
Yeah, one of the other things that they didn't plan on, or doesn't look like they strategized at all, was concerns about evacuating the translators that have been working alongside us in Afghanistan. The Wall Street Journal wrote, nonprofits and lawmakers have sounded warnings for months, but the administration did not do anything about it. Now, Congressman Carl, I know that your son served 2 tours in Afghanistan and has close connections to some of the Afghan translators. If we do not get these people out, what message does that send to our allies around the world?
Well, the next conflict we get in, and the next time we ask for volunteers that'll step up and be these translators and work with us, they're not going to do it because we didn't hold our word. I mean, these people put their lives, they put their families on the line. They've given everything to help us. Whether you want to call it a victory or not, we need to bring them out with us. We need to respect the word that we gave them. And that's every one of them, not leave one behind. And to believe that the Taliban can take over this city that fast without us having some type of prior knowledge, I honestly believe we're going to start getting more and more reports from the Intelligence Department that Biden was briefed on it. But again, Biden's trying to distract us. He's trying to keep us from, he's just moving from one disaster to the next because he's trying to cover his tracks. It's just making it much worse, much worse. He's like a man in quicksand. The more he struggles, the deeper he's sinking.
Yeah, and he keeps walking away from these press conferences without being transparent like he said he would. Congressman Meuser, you mentioned this, so I want to press down this point because the Biden administration, they keep acting like their hands were tied because the Trump administration is the one who set this withdrawal timeline in motion. Mike Pence, he spoke out about this in an op-ed saying that Biden broke the Trump administration's deal with the Taliban. It seems that the president simply didn't want to appear to be abiding by the terms of the deal negotiated by his predecessor. Once Mr. Biden broke the deal, the Taliban launched a major offensive against the Afghan government and seized Kabul. They knew there was no credible threat of force under this president. Do you believe that Biden's foreign policy stance emboldened the Taliban to do what they're doing right now?
Do I think that Biden? Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, 100%. I mean, it completely invigorated them. It gave them victories. It allowed them to add to their forces. And again, the reason that President Trump did not commit the withdrawal and engage in withdrawal is because the intelligence did not support it. And at the same time, they had a condition-based withdrawal, which included the threat of heavy military Air Force might if the Taliban were to break the agreement that was trying to be formulated. But again, it never went into action because the intelligence didn't support it. I mean, and now we got a defense secretary, by the way, Lloyd Austin, who said, we're going to get everyone out we possibly can until the clock runs out. I mean, I'm not sure what's going on in this White House, but nobody likes it. There's no strong evacuation plan. We're not acting like a world power, and we're not informing the Taliban of the consequences should they bring harm to Americans.
Absolutely. We have to take care of our fellow citizens who are stranded right now in Afghanistan. Congressman, thank you for your time here tonight.
Thank you. Thanks, Lindsay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry.